So you just completed your real estate course, but now you have to take the dreaded real estate exam and have a lot of questions. Well, good news. I'm going to go over everything you need to know to pass the Texas real estate exam. I'm going to tell you what to expect and what it covers so that you're the most prepared possible. I'll also be going over 10 exam prep questions so that way you'll be ready to crush the exam. I'm Devin Cook and welcome back. Now you're probably wondering what qualifies me to make this video and give you tips on passing the exam. Very valid question. I'd be thinking the same thing myself. So know that I'm a licensed real estate agent in Texas. I got my license back in January 2019. It's been about 2.5 years since then. I passed both the state and national portions of the exam on my first try, which was just awesome. And one thing to keep in mind is that success on your real estate exam does not determine the level of success that you're going to have as an agent selling homes. I often tell people that your real estate course doesn't teach you much about how to actually sell houses. It mainly just covers different laws, different regulations, and how not to get sued when you're selling houses. And that's really about it. If you want to learn to sell houses and not just skate by as an agent, that's a completely different skill set, and it's not something you learn from taking your real estate exam. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to make a video covering my best tips to have a successful first year in real estate. Now, all of that to say, I've been where you are, I've taken the exam, I passed it, I survived, I'm alive, it's okay, you will too. And just don't worry about the exam, it's really not a big deal. You're going to pass, you're going to be successful, and you're gonna do a lot better by not stressing about it too much. Study, be prepared, schedule it, pass the test, and go make some money. It's really that simple. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty details of the exam, what it consists of, and what to expect. So you do have to pay to take the exam and schedule it in one of the approved testing sites that's proctored. Last I checked, it's $54 to take the exam, but if it has changed, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make sure to pin that comment to the top. When you complete your course, TREC, or the Texas Real Estate Commission, is gonna send you all the details through an email that you need to know to schedule your exam, what testing sites are approved, how to get your fingerprints, your background check, etc. You'll have 150 minutes to take the exam, and there's gonna be a total of 110 questions. And the great news is they're all multiple choice, which is great. If they were short answer questions, that'd be just ridiculous. I'd hate that. And the exam is broken up into two different portions that are taken back to back. The first is the national portion of the exam. This is the bigger portion. It has 80 questions and you have 105 minutes to complete it. And the second is the state portion, which is gonna be a bit smaller. You have 30 questions here and 45 minutes to complete it. And you do have to get a 70% or higher in each section in order to pass. So just keep that in mind, but it's very doable. And later on in this video, I'm gonna give you tips on how to do that. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but what happens if you fail the exam when you go to take it? Well, for starters, you're not gonna fail. You're going to pass. Think positive and believe in yourself. But if you do happen to fail the exam, there's a couple important things to know. If you fail both the state and national portions of the exam, you're gonna have to take both of them again. Pretty obvious. But if you only fail the state portion or the national portion, whichever it is, you only have to take that failed portion again. You don't have to take the portion that you passed. This is super helpful and it really limits the amount of things that you're gonna need to restudy. You have up to 3 different attempts to take the exam, and keep in mind with each attempt, you're gonna have to pay that $54 fee. If you do fail the exam 3 different times, you're gonna be required to retake at least a portion of your course and complete more education before TREC allows you to reschedule your test for another attempt. Now, this will either frighten or motivate you. Only 57% of people pass both exams on the first try. But don't worry, you're gonna be one of those 57% because I believe in you, you're watching this video, and I know that you're gonna study super hard so that you pass the first time. I also believe in you enough to hit that subscribe button right there so that way you have all the access to new content and new videos I'm posting just like this. So in order to pass the exam, you'll be needing some study resources. And depending on what course you're going to take or have already taken, will determine what study materials you already have available to you. And you're definitely gonna wanna utilize those resources that came with your course. For reference, I took the ACEable Agent Real Estate course, and they included some exam prep tests, a bunch of quizzes, and some PDFs with all of the terms that I needed to know and study. That's what I use to study, and if you don't have an exam prep test, I recommend that you get one and use that to study and test your knowledge. And if you haven't taken your course yet, feel free to check the link down below in the description. You'll be getting 20% off the ACEable Agent Real Estate course, which really helps out the channel. It's what I use and I highly recommend it. So what do I recommend that you do to pass the exam the first time around? Well, there's a couple different things. Number one, and this is the most important, you need to believe that you're gonna pass the exam. I can't emphasize that enough, because if you're doubting yourself and you're unsure, your mindset will either make or break you. So you need to be confident and sure of yourself before going in to take the exam. Number two, and this is huge, you need to take practice exams, as many as you can, because there is no better way to test the gaps in your knowledge than by taking an exam, see what your score is, and then you can see where you need to study additionally so that way you can get a passing grade. Shoot for 80% or higher on the practice exams before going to take the real one. I also recommend that you take as many practice exams as possible possible, so that way you get maximum exposure to different concepts, different questions, and as many terms as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is get blindsided in the test by a phrase that you don't recognize and don't have any recollection of studying or learning in the course. And the third thing is you need to get on Quizlet and build some flashcards so that way you can study from them. And if you're really savvy and you don't want to make your own flashcards, well, you can easily hop on Quizlet and find a bunch of flashcard sets that other people have made to help you study for the exam. But keep in mind, by typing everything out and making those flashcards yourself, whether they're physical flashcards or digital ones on Quizlet, creating the flashcards yourself is really going to help improve your knowledge and cement your understanding of those concepts. The fourth thing that I recommend you do is getting a list of terms that you need to know and studying those. You can also create flashcards on Quizlet for them. Make sure you understand the different acronyms, the different laws, and are comfortable as well doing the math portions that are going to show up on the test. You're not going to be tested much on dates that different laws or regulations were passed, but they're definitely going to want you to know things like who makes up the TREC board, how long does someone have to submit a complaint to TREC, statute of limitation stuff, etc. And the fifth and last thing I recommend you do to study is smash the like button, because studies show if you smash the like button, you just win at life and this exam. Proven. All right, now for the practice exam questions. After I go through each question and different possible answers, make sure to pause the video for a second so that way you can work out the question on your own and mark your answer. Make sure to actually pause the video and do it on your own, because if you don't, you're not doing yourself any favors and you're not going to retain as much information. All right, so here we go. Number one, a geographic region in which similar properties compete with a subject property for potential buyers is called A, a municipality, B, a political district, C, a market area, or D, a demand unit. Make sure to actually pause. And the correct answer is C, a market area. Good job. And question number two, which of the following types of developments allow fee ownership of individual units with joint ownership of common areas? The choices are A, planned unit developments or PUDs, B, cooperatives, C, condominiums, or D, subdivisions. Seriously though, pause. And the correct answer is C, condominiums. And get ready for question number three. The acquisition of another's title to real property by means of open, notorious, and continuous use is known as A, an easement by prescription, B, an easement in gross, C, adverse possession, or D, eminent domain. And if you're one of those people that just goes on the test and just marks C, 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 well, you would be right, because the answer is again C, adverse possession. Yo, I know the C thing is working, but don't just guess C. It's really not a good strategy. That rhymed. C, strategy. All right, and number four. Combining a principal's funds with a licensee's personal funds is A, considered to be commingling, B, establishing an escrow account, C, necessary in real estate speculation, or D, standard practice to ensure a commission. And the right answer is A, considered to be commingling. Definitely don't do that. You'll probably get sued. First tidbit of bonus info, if you want to do well selling homes, know your market. Our question number five, not our first math question, but it does have some numbers in it. Get ready. Under a lease for commercial property, a tenant agrees to pay $4,000 per month plus 3% of the gross monthly sales. This type of lease is called A, net lease, B, triple net lease, C, percentage lease, or D, ground lease. And again, I see you right there sitting in your chair, sitting at your desk, trying to study this, just marking C on every one. Well, guess what? You're right again. The answer is C, a percentage lease. And question number six, our first math question. If a buyer makes a 20% down payment and obtains a $75,000 mortgage, what is the sales price of the property? Whip out your calculator. Come on, let's do it. Don't just guess. And be prepared, because you're gonna have to do these math questions by hand in the exam. Jokes, they're gonna give you a calculator, don't worry about it. The answers are either A, 82,500, B, 90,000, C, 93,750, or D, 97,500. And you would be right again that the answer is, drum roll please, C, $93,750. Good job, you're really a calculator warrior over there, I saw you. And question number seven, when must an existing agency relationship be disclosed to another party to a proposed transaction? And your options are either A, during a substantial discussion, B, before submitting an offer, C, at no time during negotiations, this one's pretty obvious, or D, at the time of a licensee's first contact. And you would be right that it is D, at the time of a licensee's first contact.
If I see you not pausing one more time and just skipping to the answer, and I'll reach my hand through your screen, delete your Gmail account, take your phone, order a pizza, send it to my house, and not sharing it with you.
And question number eight, back to another math one. Get your calculator again. A broker is going to lease a 1,200 square foot warehouse at $6 per square foot per year. If the broker's commission will be 8% of the first year's rental income, the maximum amount payable is blank. This is where you write down your answer, which I'm going to give you the options, but you could figure it out on your own probably without the multiple choice. But this is why we have multiple choice. It makes it a bit easier. A, $576, B, $691, C, $720, or D, $960. And since you're just a math whirlwind genius, I know that you got the correct answer, which is of course A, $576. Second tidbit on selling homes, practice practice scripts. Really know them. Question number 9, we're almost to the end. An individual is exempt from real estate licensure in Texas when performing which of the following activities? A, selling real estate to another person. B, offering an employer's property for rent. C, procuring prospects in the hopes of renting particular properties. Or D, locating apartment units for a tenant. And you would be correct in that the answer is B, offering an employer's property for rent. Third tidbit to selling homes like Sirhan, you have to outwork everybody. All right, the last question, number 10, and our last math question. Greg borrowed $15,000 to buy a business. The interest rate was 11%. If Greg paid all the interest and the amount borrowed in a single payment after 16 months, what is the amount of this payment? Type on your calculator, get it done. Either A, $16,650, B, $16,925, C, $17,200, or D, $17,475. And our C warriors are correct because the answer is again C, $17,200. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know how your exam goes. Click this video right here and I'll see you in the next one.